Alright, so today we're going to find the area of a trapezoid. We need to remember that a trapezoid has only two sides that are parallel. Most of the time the top and the bottom are parallel. The other two sides are going to end up intersecting. So like this trapezoid has a top and a bottom that are parallel. So to find the area of this trapezoid, I can find an area two different ways. The first way is to draw a diagonal line to break it into two triangles. Since we already know how to find the area of a triangle, we can find the area of this top triangle and the area of the bottom triangle and add them together to find the area of the entire trapezoid. If we remember the formula for a triangle, it is 1/2 times base times height. So I'm going to take this first triangle on the bottom. My base is 12 and my height is 5. So I'm going to multiply them together. 12 times 5 is 60, and then 1/2 times 60, or half of 60, is going to be 30 inches squared.
We can't see your 30. Thank you.
I need to have my inches squared because I have a label of inches squared here. My second triangle, my base is 10. My height is also 5. From the top to the bottom, it's also 5. So I'm going to take 10 times 5 to get 50, and then 1/2 of 50 is 25 inches squared. So now that I know the area of the bottom triangle and the top triangle, I can add them together to find the area of the entire trapezoid. So I have 30 plus 25, which is 55 inches squared. Let's do another example. So this time I have a trapezoid that looks like this. I'm going to draw a diagonal and split it into two triangles. So now I have a top triangle and I have a bottom triangle, same as before. I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to find the area of each triangle and add them together to find the total area of the trapezoid. Okay, now that you've had time to work, let's go over this. So my first triangle, I have a height, I have a base of 9, and my height, if we remember, my base and height of any shape has to form a right angle. So the base of this triangle is 9, but the height is going to be 10. It's not 11 because 11 is not a right angle to my base. So from the bottom to the top of this triangle, it is 10 centimeters. So I would multiply 9 times 10 to get 90. And then multiply it by 1/2 to get 45 centimeters squared. Then the next triangle, I have a base of 12 and a height of 10. So I'm going to take 12 times 10 to get 120, and then multiply it by 1/2 to get 60 centimeters. I then need to add them together to get a total of 105 centimeters squared. So this would be the entire area of my trapezoid. So now we're going to look at the other way to find the area of a trapezoid. This way is by using the formula. We've had a formula for all of our shapes so far, so here's a formula. We have base 1 plus base 2 times our height, and we're going to then multiply it by 1/2. Instead of multiplying by 1/2, you could also divide it by a 2, because dividing by 2 and multiplying by 1/2 mean the same thing. Here's your note you always need to remember. Your base and height will always form a right angle. So if I'm going to use the formula for this one, this is my base 1. This is my first base. It's the bottom base. My base 2 is the other base to my trapezoid. So I'm going to have to add those two numbers together. So I have 10 plus 12, which is 22. Then I'm going to multiply it by my height, which my height is 5. So then 22 times 5 is 110, and then half of 110 is 55. My label is inches squared because I have a label of inches on my numbers. Okay, here's some examples for you guys to work on. Again, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to work on these two examples. Okay, after you've had some time to work on these examples using the formula, we're going to go over this first one here. So my first one is I have a base of 12 and a base of 9. So I'm going to take 12 plus 9 to get 21, and I'm going to multiply it by my height of 7. If we notice, my height here has to be 7 because it's the only one that forms a right angle with my base. So then 21 times 7, and once I multiply that by a half, I end up with 73.5 feet squared. If I look at this next one, I have a base of 13 and a base of 10. This would be my height of 6. So I'm going to take 13 plus 10 to get 23, multiply it by a 6, multiply it by a half, and I end up with 69 units squared. This one is labeled with units because these numbers do not have any labels, so I have to use units. You guys will be working on your homework, and you will have the rest of class to work quietly on your homework. When you are finished with your homework, you need to read a book or work on work from another class.